Okay. You got me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So for some reason, this recorder doesn't work if I call people. I don't know. You have to call me.
Hmm.
I don't know, but it's recording. So, well, thanks for giving me a call. You want to do a quick bio? Stand up and tell me about yourself.
From North Alabama, kind of grew up hunting there. I grew up hunting with the rifles, got into bow hunting in my later years of high school. I've just been bow hunting ever since. Kind of fell in love with it.
Yeah, and you're how old now?
25 now.
Oh, you're only 25.
Yep, I started bow hunting when I was, I guess that was 16 or 17 years old.
Oh man, you're young. You say your dad's a game warden?
My father-in-law, yeah, he's a game warden back in Alabama.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, I initially met you because I every year I send out about 1,000 letters asking property owners to let me hunt their property, and I've had pretty much zero success doing that. Except this year, we got a guy named Bill that said if I was willing to do some work for his elderly mother, then he'd let me hunt his property, and that's how I met you because you were one of the other hunters there. And
yeah,
it's
like, kind of a crazy story.
Yeah,
how I actually got permission to hunt that too.
Yeah, I was wondering about how you got permission because I was initially like, oh, that sucks. This other guy's hunting, but then I met you and I started talking to you, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. So we bought this house about 2 years ago now, and when we first moved here, obviously I got no family in the area, no history with this part of the state. So I started looking on Onyx of some farms around here, and I went and done some door knocking to no avail on the first couple, and then I was driving to the gas station from my house, and I seen Bill out cutting the grass in his yard.
Always cutting the grass.
Yeah, he was out there cutting the grass, and I said, man, that's a good looking farm. So when I got to the store, I pulled up Onyx, and I was like, golly, yeah, that's a beautiful farm. I said, well, if he's still out there cutting grass on the way back, I'm going to stop and talk to him. And sure enough, I went back by there and he was still cutting grass. So I pulled in and kind of had a conversation with him. And it was just 5 minutes up the road from where I live. So we kind of hit it off right off the bat. And I told him I was willing to work if he would allow me to hunt some. So that's exactly the same way that I got permission.
Yeah, I think it helps out that I'm Army, you're Air Force, and he's retired Air Force. So I think that helped out in our favor for that.
Yeah, it definitely don't hurt.
So so after that, how was your initial first year? What time of year did you initially get permission on the farm?
So that was in August. That was right before the season started. And that first year was kind of tough. I didn't really know how the farm laid out, how the deer used it. Mm-hmm. So I did just a lot of going in with a climber and hunting some kind of bedding areas and then some hardwoods. There was a cornfield in the back of the property then. So I hunted it some. I think I killed 2 or 3 does that first year, but I never seen the first, what I would call a mature buck that first year, which really surprised me.
So also, I think if anybody's listening to this, that it should be noted that there are some stipulations on the farm, like you have to stop hunting it pretty much as the rut comes in.
Yeah.
Because his family comes in and some other random people that have been hunting the farm forever, and they say some crazy stuff. Like the guy that owns the farm, he doesn't really hunt that much. If he does, he's fine just shooting does from pretty much his yard. But he's telling me that some of his family members, they come there and they kill like 30 deer a year. So
yeah, just the rifle season, they'll kill close to 30 deer.
Yeah. And they only hunt the rifle season pretty much. I think he said his son will do a little bow hunting, but it's pretty much only the rut. So they're there. So when did they basically kick you off the farm last year and then let you back hunting, or if they did?
Yeah. So right when the rifle season started, I just kind of I backed off because their whole family was in hunting. So that was, I think last year it was like November the 8th through the 20th. Um, so I didn't hunt it any during the rifle season that first year.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that would have been 2 years ago when I first hunted it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
And then you came back the following year?
Yeah. So last year I came back and I had a chance at a good buck early season and just couldn't make it happen. I ended up killing kind of what I would call a coal buck in January of last year. It was super late season.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that. That was a nice buck.
Yeah, he kind of had one side that was messed up. It was January the 3rd. But yeah, I mean, he's still.
Did you kill him out in one of the ag fields?
No, I didn't. I was hunting over a corn pile last January, and all the acorns were kind of gone, and yeah, I killed him right. It was there's snow on the ground. It was a pretty day, but yeah, it was late season. He's just kind of coming to food.
So going into this season, because when we started hunting the farm together, you pretty much had your areas you already liked. So I think I just kind of took the other half. It's what it kind of seems like, right?
Yeah, and when Bill first gave me the layout of the farm, the east side, the way he kind of explained it to me is where they usually hunt. That's where they usually have like their ground blinds and their ladder stands and stuff. So I kind of still wanted to stay away from them. That's why I hunted the western part of the farm mostly.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. So you've hunted the same fields and woods that you hunted this year. And did you ever hunt down by the river or down in that lower field that's out by the road?
I hunted it a couple times. That's where I had an encounter with a good buck last year. But it's just like a small patch of woods. And then that field was beans last year. And then it rotated back to corn. Yeah, it was beans last year and it rotated back to corn this year.
Okay. So, and then you said you shot at a big one last year, right?
Yeah, it was opening day last year. I was down in that lower patch of hardwoods, and he came in with a couple does. They were feeding out of the bean field, coming back into the hardwoods that evening. And yeah, when I drew back, the two does he was with kind of spooked, and I had kind of a 1/4 shot, and I thought I had a good enough opening, and I cut it loose. And I think what happened, I just hit straight on that shoulder because he kind of turned and spun and took off, and I never found my arrow. I never found a drop of blood. It blew my mind how he didn't at least bleed a little bit. But yeah, never found him. Never seen buzzards or anything. So it's kind of close to the property line. I hope he just kind of jumped properties and stayed on another farm, but
yeah,
never figured it out.
That's kind of like the buck I shot early season, except I think that buck's dead. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was so excited for that. I've never had, I think that was like September 26th or something. I've never shot a deer in September before. But just the way that farm laid out this year was just, I don't know. The fact that I didn't kill anything early season kind of makes me think that I suck because the place laid out so good for early season. The problem is I've never had the opportunity to hunt a place like that with big ag fields like that. And it seems like they vary where they come out to the field slightly, just enough that if you're bow hunting, you can't really pattern them. And then as soon as they're out of the woods, they're like 100 yards out into the middle. You know what I mean? Just kind of milling around till dark too. So you get to see all of them, but actually getting one in bow range is actually pretty difficult.
Yeah, where I grew up hunting in Alabama, there's no big ag fields like that. It's kind of more steep terrain and hardwoods and pines.
Mm-hmm.
So I have had no experience hunting deer coming out of ag like that either.
Yeah, I hadn't either, but it was nice. It was certainly a change for me after I've always hunted pretty much 90% like public land. So it's been like walking like a mile climbing like a mountain and then basically maybe seeing a doe at last light.
Yeah, it's definitely different on this farm. There's no shortage of deer. That's for sure. There's not as many mature bucks as I thought. Maybe that's just because I
think
thought they would not know where to hunt.
I think it's because they shoot so many of them when they're young.
Could be.
Because you could manage if you had that farm like and you were a hunter, like you could manage that farm for trophy deer easily.
Yeah, I think so. It's big enough where you could keep a couple.
Yeah, because the deer. I mean, I'm still getting trail camera pictures of the same deer that I was getting opening weekend. You know what I mean? So like the deer are living there, staying there, and I mean, it's pretty big. So until they start wandering, there's some new deer showing up too. So going into this year, when did you get the first picture or see the wide 8 for the first time or know that he existed, the one you shot?
Yeah, so I found this spot last year, late season, and it's kind of on the south side of a strip of hardwoods with a big ag field just south of that. And it was between like a cedar thicket bedding area, and then it was like one patch of good oaks right there before you get into the beans. So it laid out really good for like a north wind. So first thing this year, early season, I went and put out some corn in the camera there, and it wouldn't out for a week, and I got a picture of him and that other big non-typical deer that I showed you. He just had a club on one side.
Yeah,
they were running together.
Have you seen that one with the club again? I haven't seen that one in a long time.
No, me neither. Right when he dropped his velvet, he disappeared. I don't know where he went.
Must have moved off to a different range or something.
Yeah, I could have.
But you put corn out and you started seeing that deer immediately?
Yeah, I started getting pictures of him pretty quick. That was a couple weeks before season opened. And then I went back in opening. Well, I was going to go hunt opening day. And then I joked with my wife. I told her I should have killed this deer in velvet because opening day, she had scheduled some plans that day to go meet up with some friends and eat and stuff. So I went with them, and he showed up like an hour before daylight, full velvet.
Oh, before dark?
I mean, yeah, hour before dark. Sorry, yeah. He was just hanging out, full velvet, and I was like kicking myself. I was like, man, I knew I should have hunted.
And those deer are wild too because they'll come out early, and like basically everything that I learned about like hunting public land stuff like just went out the window. Like, you know, wait for a cold front and all this stuff. It was like every day I would go, I would set up like in an observation position that first week. And it didn't matter if it was 100 degrees. It didn't matter what. Those deer were coming out to the fields like an hour before dark. It's like doing what like low pressure deer do.
Having no hunting pressure on them early season, I think it really helps. And they just love getting out in those bean fields early season.
Yeah, they go out to the middle of them and just lay down.
I think I was catching those deer coming. I think I was catching those bucks coming from the bedding just north of where I was set up, and they were just kind of coming through there before they went out in the beans.
Yeah. So, once you started hunting them, did you have any initial encounters with them that you didn't get shot on or anything?
No, I went in there one time and I got busted by some does. And that's when I was like, I'm not going back in unless the wind is perfect, which I thought it was going to be good that day, but it was just not enough wind. It was just kind of swirling in there. But the next time I went in was October the 2nd. And it was good wind. Everything was set up perfect. It was kind of a little bit of a cold front coming through for that early in October. And got up in the tree. Everything was good. And I started seeing deer like we said, an hour before sunset. And they were still in the bachelor group. So the first couple deer that came out was that big non-typical that had the messed up side.
Oh, okay.
And then a couple other smaller bucks. and I was about to shoot that non-typical. I had my bow in my hand ready, and they kept looking back, and I thought, he's been running with this bachelor group. I bet he's close. And sure enough, he stepped out. And they were coming through at like 20, 25 yards. And I got Drew back, and he gave me the textbook perfect shot. 25 yards, quartering away. He had no clue in the world I was there. And somehow I just rushed it.
Yeah.
I think I was just anticipating that shot a little bit and pulled it before I hit the release. And it was a little low and left. And as soon as I cut it loose, I see my lighted knock hit him, and he jumped up and did the mule kick and turned and took off. And I thought, man, he's dead running. I smoked him, and I thought I heard him crash, and then I thought I heard another crash, and that kind of concerned me. But yeah, and I sat there for a little while, and I climbed down and found my arrow, and it was it was okay blood. And then, so I started to back out, and I decided, well, if I hit him where I think he's dead, within 100 yards. And then I got on the blood trail and started a little bit. And at first I thought it could have been like liver blood almost. And then I was kind of confused, but then luckily you were there to help me get on the blood trail and track him for a little ways.
Yeah.
But we tracked for about 150 yards, and I knew something was up. Because, like I said, if I hit him where I thought I had, he had been dead by then.
Yeah, he was bleeding pretty good too.
Yeah, and then come to find out, I did pull that shot low and left, and it went right through his front leg, and clipped his brisket.
Yeah.
So the blood trail looked like it was like a pass through.
Yeah.
Because you had two separate like blood trails like right beside each other, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd end up tracking him. I think me and you went like 200 yards before we ever backed out.
Yeah, because I think we actually saw him stand around the field, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't know if that was him or that buck that was with him, but yeah, we seen him stand up, and then that's when we decided to just back out. I knew it wasn't as good a shot as I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went back the next day, the next morning it was, and threw the drone up. And luckily, you didn't have that drone up 10 minutes, and you found him laying out in the bean field.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as we seen him out there, I knew he was probably going to be fine.
Yeah, because he wasn't like he was just out in the bean field, just eating, like just enjoying.
Yeah,
he didn't show signs of anything. I mean, he was getting up, walking around, he was just going about his day, basically.
Yeah, and I knew then that I'd probably pulled the shot, but yeah, I was glad we actually found him that quick and kind of got some closure on what had happened.
Yeah, because you could have been out walking around all day, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, that drone saved me hours of walking around, probably bumping him even farther away from that spot.
Mm-hmm. So you waited quite a while before you started hunting him again, didn't you?
Yeah, so that was October 2nd, and I didn't go back into that spot. I went back in a week later and just put out some more corn just to see if he was in the area.
Yeah, change your batteries in your cars or something like that.
Yeah, I changed the batteries in 2 of my cameras to try to get a picture of him. And then...
Because I had actually taken a picture of him over by the pond.
Yeah, so he had moved a little bit.
Yeah, so he started roaming a little bit wider because I went and sat by the pond that night looking for him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so I went back in and changed the batteries, my camera and stuff, and it was a couple weeks later, I got a picture of him again, and he was obviously by then lost his velvet, and I could tell it was him because I could see the spot on that front left leg where I hit him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was around the 17th, I think.
Yeah, because to be honest, that cut in his leg was pretty big.
Yeah, I mean, I was shooting a 2-inch mechanical broadhead.
Yeah, you're shooting the beast ones, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was shooting the beast one. But yeah, I mean, you could see it plain as day on the camera where it went in that front leg. But
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go back in to hunt until, so that was the 17th. I think I got the first picture of him. I didn't go back in to hunt until the 23rd. I hunted that evening of the 23rd, and I didn't see him. I seen another decent buck come through and making scrapes and stuff, and I had already seen like a scrape line that those bucks had got going just north of where I had my tree stand set up. So I knew I was in a good spot just south of that bedding area, and they're already off the beans by now. They're more going into that pre-rut phase, just hitting the scrapes and stuff, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt good, and I was still getting pictures of him pretty consistent, at least every other day. Most of them were at night, but I knew he was in the area. I went back to 23rd. I seen a couple bucks, but not him. And then the morning of the 25th, that's when I went back in there, and I had a good wind, a north wind, and I kind of went in a different way than I normally do. I went in from the west, and you know how the farm lays out. So I kind of walked down the river and then come in from the west. Yeah. Because I kind of felt like I knew where he was bedding. And if I come in from the east, I was afraid I would spook him.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So I actually waited until the sun kind of got up a little bit more and the woods started waking up, because it's, how it is. If you hunt mornings there, it's hard not to spook deer. There's so many does.
Yeah.
So I waited till the sun kind of got up a little bit, and I slipped in there, got set up, and I didn't see a single deer until 9:30. And I had kind of was hoping maybe those bucks would make a round through there and hit those scrapes, but yeah, it was 9:30, and I was just standing there, and I kind of heard something running off to my north, and I got my binos up and looked, and I seen a deer like bust out of that cedar thicket and stop. He had his tail up in the air and like something spooked him. I didn't realize it was him until I kind of seen him turn that head and head towards me. And I was like, oh yeah, that's him. So I don't know what had spooked him out of that cedar thicket, but he came down the trail, and I ranged him at 30 yards where I thought he was going to cross that first trail. And he come to that opening, and he still kind of had his tail up like something had spooked him, but he was coming towards me. So I guess it could have been anything, but I arranged that opening at 30 yards, and I have the 1-pin slider stock. So I moved my pin, and he stepped in the opening at 30, and I drew. And as soon as I drew, he started walking again. And he kind of got behind some cover. Didn't have a shot. And the next time he popped out, he was pretty close underneath me. I would definitely say within 20 yards. But I didn't want to let down and range and then move my sight and then have to draw again because he was already kind of alerted.
Mm-hmm.
So I just held a little low with that 30-yard pin and let it rip. And it was such a steep angle because the stand I'm hunting out of is a lock on, and I'm at least 25 feet high, probably close to 30.
Yeah, when I was scouting the farm and I went over there and saw your stand, I was like, that thing is up there.
Yeah, it's high. Oh, I had trouble last year with deer seeing me. They were just kind of coming out of those woods, and they were more eye level with me, so I bumped it up. But yes, it was a steep shot, and I just held that 30-yard pin a little low and got it in there. I actually clipped the spine, but it was such a steep angle. It was still like a double long, but I clipped the spine, so I got another one in him too. But yeah, I was pumped. I couldn't believe that.
So
I don't know what that was that spooked him out of that cedar thicket, but I'm grateful it did.
So what time did you end up shooting him?
9:30.
Man, 9:30 in October.
Yeah.
So most people have already been down for like an hour.
Yeah, I got a picture of him a couple days before that at like 11:30 in the morning. So I told myself I was at least gonna sit till 11.
Yeah. So
which I thought was
you had to know you're
dumb.
bedding right around there.
Yeah, but I thought he was kind of making one of those midday freshen up the scrapes
Mhm.
before he goes back to bed.
Mhm.
I think that's what he was doing. Um, but yeah, it was. I've never killed a good buck like that late in the morning.
Yeah. So since you clipped the spine, did he fall right there?
Yeah, he fell right there,
Mm.
and yeah, I mean, I kind of hate to see it, but
Oh
it was
yeah.
it was
The buck same
still.
the same buck I shot this year, I spined the shit out of him. He dropped he dropped instantly. I mean, I hate it. I mean, I feel terrible, but
Yeah,
I mean, he dropped there, and then I put another arrow in his heart, and he was dead within a minute. So I mean,
yeah,
but
yeah. That was the same.
but it at the same time, it's so awesome to be like, there's the deer right there. You know?
Yeah, yeah. The worst part about bow hunting is that you shoot them, and as soon as they take off, you start questioning, like, "Oh yeah, that shot sucked."
Oh, you mean the one that I shot at 13 yards, and I was like already at the taxidermist in my head? It's cut down. There was no blood, no arrows, just pieces of arrows sticking out of trees.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what an idiot. You had to be like, you had to be over the moon, huh?
Oh yeah, I was ecstatic. I was so pumped, and it happened so fast. I didn't really have time to get nervous
Yeah, that,
until like after that first shot. So like a shot, he got the second arrow in him, and I was like, "It's crazy!" Like there he is, and then I started all the adrenaline started dumping in.
yeah, that's what I'd much rather just like, you know, like a rut buck, like runs in, you gotta draw, you gotta shoot him, than just being like that early. Some of that early season, like, gives me buck fever because it's like, oh, there's the deer. Like, I'm just gonna watch him for like 45 minutes as he works over here, you know?
Oh yeah, and that's how it was the first time I got a shot at him because I was already watching two of those bucks that came through before him were mature bucks.
Mhm.
Like I said, I was gonna thinking about shooting that one until he stepped out, and then I watched him for 10 minutes while he made his way through the woods over there.
Yeah, that non-typical you're talking about, I would shot that deer all day.
Yeah, and I think that deer is old. He's so heavy. He's got really really good mass on that one side, and then the other side is just a club.
Yeah. So are you gonna start hunting some public now, some Tennessee public?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna put that saddle to use. You let me borrow and hopefully go out this weekend. And I went and scouted out some spots last week, and I found a couple good areas. Hopefully I can get back in there.
Did how do you feeling about the saddle? Because
Oh, I use so far.
you never used one prior, right?
No, no, yeah, this is the first one.
Mm.
Yeah, I like it so far. Um, I like the I like that you're able to move around so much.
Yeah.
Because I had that climber I was hunting out of, and it was just so bulky and heavy, and you couldn't really move in it.
Man, I'm kind of a sissy because like that's that's how I started. I started like on private with like a ladder stand, and then I was like, well, this isn't really working. There's no deer here. So then I was like, yeah, I'll start hunting public with this Summit Goliath climber or whatever. And
Yep.
I mean, I walk back like 100 yards in the woods, banging that thing off every branch, getting it caught in every tree. And I'd be like so smoked by the end of the night, getting that thing back to the truck. I'd be like, I don't know if I'd still be hunting today if I was still using that thing.
Yeah, they're a mess. I've probably run more deer off than I ever seen on that thing.
I never could get it quiet either because I'd always be banging the metal together and stuff, trying to put them back together or take them apart and stuff. I don't know. But I guess,
Yeah, and especially hunting the early season here in Kentucky when it's 97 degrees outside.
exactly. And then throwing like a book bag on top of that thing. So it's like 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. But guys in the South, you must have used those in Alabama. Guys in Alabama love climbers because you got a lot
Oh
of
yeah.
trees.
That's what everybody uses to climb those pine trees down south.
Yeah. I think, I mean, a lot of people give them shit, but like if I lived down there, I'd probably just save up my money for a year and buy one of those lone wolf climbers. I don't know if you've seen those, but it's a climber, but the total weight is 9 pounds, I think, and it folds up completely flat.
No, I hadn't seen that.
But it's also, I think it's also $1,000.
Yeah.
So, well, that's cool. I'm getting excited about. It feels so good to already have a buck down. Like now, like the pressure, because I went through a dry spell last year. I didn't kill a buck at all last year. I didn't even see a mature buck. I didn't even see anything I would shoot last year. I mean, I just sucked last year.
Yeah.
And so, like, to already have a buck down going into the rut is just like a total relief. Because now it's like, well, if I don't shoot anything else, I'm fine. But I'm still gonna go every day. I took off work for most of the month, and like, but I want to kill something significant, if I do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel the same way. I was hoping this is how it would play out, that I would, kill a buck on private earlier and then I can hunt the rut on public. But yeah, I was super excited that I could kill that deer. And then now hopefully go try out some new spots.
Well, yeah, having access to this farm now totally like changes my ideas about things, because usually like where I hunt on public, the private is where all the deer are early season because it's where the food is. And then I'm usually hunting like thick bedding, but it's usually so far back in there that they haven't even really gotten to those spots yet. So like early season usually just totally blows for me until it gets to like late October. So having this place and having the ability to get in there and actually have a chance at deer early season, I mean, I actually liked it better. I mean, the deer were on a pattern. It was like I had an idea of what they were going to do. It was just on me to try to make it work out and not get busted.
Yeah, I think that early season, especially here, the season starts so early. Those deer are still in velvet, still on that summer pattern. If you could figure out where they're bedding and where they're going out to food, I think that's a great time to kill one.
Yeah. It's just trying to get the wind right, because it's like some of those spots, it's like either the wind swirls or like how you get in there, or just where they're staying and where they're going, just the wind just won't work out for us. So you kind of get creative with it.
Yeah, that's why I like that spot that I killed that buck out of this year's, because you get a lot of good north winds here, and whenever I could get a north wind, it's always good for that spot.
You know what you need to hunt that farm? You need my e-bike.
Yeah, I figured that out. When you go zooming by me and you're in the tree, by the time I get to the woods, you're already up in your stand.
Dude, I like the public I hunt usually is pretty hilly, and that thing kind of sucks on it, and there's blowdown everywhere. I mean, I can use it. There's like 2 spots that I think that it actually makes sense for me to use it. And the rest of it is just like walking. So, but I mean, I like it for like putting out trail cameras and stuff. But on that farm, that thing was a game changer for me, man, because it was a mile or so back to where I was hunting, and I would just be there in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, no, that would be clutch to have one of those.
I mean, when I started out with my observation sits, I mean, I was still in the game. I mean, I was still only 100, 150 yards from where the deer were coming out. But it's so early that the grass is so high on the side of those fields that I would just ride my bike down the field edge, literally ride my bike to the tree I wanted to climb, and then just push my bike over in the tall grass. and then just wait for them to exit the field at night, get my bike out of the grass, and then just ride it out of there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into one of those.
Yeah. What how'd you like those Beast broadheads? I actually ended up buying some of those. I was shooting iron will. I've shot iron wills for years, and I really liked them, but I'm trying to go between Severs now and Beasts, just because I tend to shoot further back, and I never really hit one in the shoulder. If I do anything, I shoot further back, and I just like a bigger blood trail, because the iron wills are great. They'll go through anything, but the blood trails are pretty minimal on those. You got to pretty much see where they fall in sight.
Yeah. No, I've had pretty good luck out of those beast broadheads. I when I first started bow hunting back in high school, I was shooting the old Rage, the 2-inch Rage.
Yeah.
Um, and like you said, if you miss back, it's okay, and it's good to have that 2-inch cut. But if you got anywhere near that shoulder, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But so I started using the Magnus Black Hornets, the fixed heads,
Yep.
and I shot 2 does last year, and I made almost perfect shots. Like if I would have walked up to them and put my arrow on where I wanted to hit, that's exactly where I hit. And the blood trails are just not great.
Yeah, that's how mine are with my fixed blade iron wills.
Yeah, I mean it was just not great blood trails. Like, and I trailed one doe for I used a clear double long shot, and I trailed her for almost 200 yards before I found her dead.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I went back to expandable, and a lot of the guys that I grew up that taught me how to bow hunt, they're still shooting those Rages, and they kill big bucks with them every year.
Yeah.
I like the beast right now. I've had good success out of it, but I've heard good stuff about those Severs too.
Yeah, I have not shot a deer. I've shot a deer with a Rage. I switched like 6 years ago, I think, back to fixed blades just because I had a bad thing happen with one of the Rages. I think I was hunting in Alabama, and I think one of the blades came open in flight because it flew weird, and then I know my aim wasn't bad enough that this deer was at 20 yards, and I hit it in like the back ham, like as completely far back as you could. So something happened, and I think it was one of those coming. So, but anyway, I switched, and I had good luck. I've killed deer with the iron will. It's just that I've had it go right through them, and I find my arrow. It's got perfect blood on it. And then I really question myself because I'll start looking around for blood, and I'll be like, did I hit this deer? Because I'm not finding any blood. But when I took that follow-up shot on this deer with the Sever, and I think it's a 1.75. It's one of the hybrid ones. I mean, from my stand, I could see the blood. I was like, it was like a murder scene. It was like there was blood everywhere.
Yeah, the expendables are nice if you tend to miss back more, because if you get in like the liver or one lung and guts, I mean it's way better to have that 2-inch cut. But if you tend to miss a little forward into that shoulder, I mean those iron wheels, that's where they shine.
Yeah, and yeah. What bow are you shooting?
I got the Matthews VXR.
Oh, do you? That's
the 28.
Yeah. When do you move it? Because you're moving to North Carolina.
Yeah, in the spring.
Wait, this spring? Are you going to come back here and hunt, you think?
I sure hope so. I hope I have time to, but I don't know if I will.
Well, maybe not the first year, but maybe subsequent years. But anyway, I think they got a couple good hunting sites out there, I think. But anyway,
yeah, I've talked to some guys that are out there right now, and that they've killed some pretty good bucks too.
Oh, have they? That's good. But I was gonna say that at my house, I have like my own shop and everything set up. So I don't know how much you do your own stuff, but I do my own bow tuning and stuff. So I have, a paper tuner and a press and everything. So if like you want to change your strings out and stuff and tune your bow before you leave, we could do it, and so you don't have to spend any money out there.
Yeah, for sure. I actually just put a new string on my Matthews this year.
Yeah.
I put the new gas string on it. I forgot what they call
that's right.
The gas.
System X. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think they were called the System X. And I was surprised at how much of a difference it made in that bow. It made it feel like a new bow, because the string I had on it was the original string.
The Zeros?
Yeah.
Yeah, those strings are garbage.
Yeah, and then I put that gas string on it, and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm. I'll tell you what I started around this year, because I got like something going on with my eye. It dulls color out now. Is I bought this it's called Elevate. I think light, and it's not just like one of those screw in like lights in your sight. Like it's like USB charged, like it's a light, you know, and it makes your pins glow. I mean, like when it's that end of shooting light and you look at my pins, they're like glowing. And I've had before, I think 2 years ago, I shot at a buck, and I mean, I pulled back and it was last light, and I was like, I had to let down because I was like, I can't see any of my pins. But this light I put on there, it's legal in Kentucky, Tennessee. So I love it. I love having the lights in there. So,
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
do you have any problems running that one pin slider with all the moving you have to do around it? I've always been worried that, just like you said, I'd have to constantly be readjusting it. Or do you just kind of keep it on 30 and know where to shoot?
Well, I have had a little bit of trouble out of it. My father-in-law had this bow before me, and then I bought it from him. So he's the one that put that one pin slider on there.
Mm.
And it's good if you're taking, longer range shots and you have time to range and then move the pin and then set it. But yeah, exactly what happened in this scenario. Like I drew when I already had my pin set for 30, and he moved into under 20. And I really didn't have that much of a reference.
Right.
I've looked at going to a 3-pin slider just because I want to do some more hunting out west. So I still kind of want that slider ability, but I would like a 3-pin better.
Yeah, I think a 3-pin slider is perfect because I actually have on my bow, I have a 5-pin slider, and the 5th pin is, the slider one, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really know why, because at that point, like, I don't really need it to slide much more than that. I mean, if anything's further than like 40 yards, then you probably have time to like be sliding your sight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you're right.
So I think that 3-pin slider is like the perfect one because you got your fixed pins in there for 20, 30, 40, and then you probably never need anything more than that. And it's also not cluttering the inside. And then if you do want to shoot any further, you can obviously slide it. So I think you're right on the money with that one. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, all I've used the 1-pin for, sliding it out to 70, 80, is just slinging arrows at a target. I'll never shoot anything that far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is nice. It is nice to go do it though, because I went to like an archery shoot, and they had this like moose out there, like a giant moose target, and you had to hit like a little orange thing. It was at 92 yards. It took me like 10 tries, but I did it just because I was able to just adjust my slider just right, and I had it dialed in. So I really like it for stuff like that, and just to be able to have the options to go shoot stuff like that without having to just guess where to hold and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good for that, but I shoot them in the leg at 20 yards anyway, so I don't.
Yeah, I miss them at 13, so yeah. Well, one more thing I want to talk about before I let you go, because we need to acknowledge that the picture you sent me where you killed like a 170-inch deer in Ohio.
So, if you want to hear an even crazier story, is I actually shot that deer in the leg too 2 days before I killed it.
No way.
Yeah, I swear, the 2 biggest bucks I've ever killed. I shot them both in the front leg before I killed it. I can tell that story real quick. You up there?
Yeah. Well,
So that was a lease that we had got in like Southeast Ohio, me and my father-in-law and a couple family friends. And my father-in-law and my family friends, they've been hunting up there for several years, but they let me in on it. So we went up there to hunt the rut on like November the 7th. And the first day we hunted and seen a lot of activity, just no shooters. And then the 8th, that buck came through cruising, looking for does. I was kind of sitting on the terrain in Southeast Ohio was a lot steeper than I anticipated.
yeah.
So I was sitting on like the side of a ridge, and he came through cruising, and I ranged the trail he was walking on, and it was at 37 yards. And back then, I didn't have the 1-pin slider. I had a fixed 5-pin. So I ranged the trail and drew back. And as soon as he got there, I tried to stop him. And he was just so fixated on just cruising through that area. I couldn't get him to stop. And I eventually just had to almost yell at him to stop him. So once he stopped, I was all ready. And I watched him come through the hardwoods for almost 100 yards. So I was just shaking in my boots. And I held that 40-yard pin on him and cut it loose. And I seen it hit him, and he spun and ran about 30 yards and stopped and stood there. And I could tell, like, I didn't hit him good.
Mm-hmm.
And he turned and just walked over the top of the ridge. Well, we didn't go in there. The next day, I went back in and found like white hair and a couple drops of blood. I was like, that deer's fine. I don't know what I did. That deer's fine. Like he's gonna live. So hunted that day, and I had walked all around that ridge, and I hunted that day. That was November the 9th. I didn't see a single deer that whole day in Southeast Ohio during the rut. That's how bad I blew that place out walking around there. So the next day I went back in, and I was doing all day sits. I went back in on the 10th and sit all day from daylight till dark. And I only seen like one young buck cruise through around lunch, and that was it up until right before dark. And I heard the deepest, like most drawn out grunt I had ever heard. It sounded almost like a pig. And I didn't know really what to think. So I kind of gave my grunt to both and grunted back at him a couple times. And I heard him coming through this thicket. The doe popped out first, and they were underneath me this time. And right behind that doe was that buck again. And I could not believe my eyes. I ranged him. I got my rangefinder up and ranged him. As soon as I hit the rangefinder, the same exact yardage, 37 yards again, but on a different trail. He was right on that doe's tail. He was kind of locked down on her. But yeah, I got Drew back that time, and I smoked him that second time, and he just kind of bailed off into a creek. He actually broke off one of his pines when he crashed down in there. But yeah, I could not believe it when I walked up on that deer. It was just insane.
Yeah, when you sent me that picture of that deer the other day, I was like, holy shit, thing's gigantic.
Yeah, I'll probably never kill another buck that big in my life. His left side he's got a 8-point frame, and his left side has only got like 4 scoreable points. But just for reference, he has like a 21 inch inside spread, and then his right side had like 8 or 9 scoreable points with a couple kickers, and yeah, he was just a crazy deer.
I always think that too, because I killed a 165, and I have it, mounted next to my TV that I look at every day, and I'm like, is that gonna be the biggest deer I ever kill in my life?
Well, I can't complain. The 2 biggest deer I've killed, I've shot them both in the leg before, then I got a second chance.
So let me get this straight though. So both deer that you shot in the leg, you set up in the exact same stand. Those deer came back to that stand.
Yep.
Man, that's like against anything anybody says. Because they're like, oh, those deer will never come back. You're done.
That's how you know God's good right there.
That is nuts, man.
No, that deer in Ohio, I kind of talked to you about this before, but he was bigger the year before that. And we kind of estimated him around 200 inches the year before that. And then the year I killed him, he had broke off one of his brow tines and then another point on his right side, I think when he was in velvet. And then after I shot him, he broke off another point when he crashed down in the creek, and I never found it. And he still scored 174.
That's freaking nuts, dude.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for getting on doing this with me. I'll let you know when I'm gonna put it out. Probably next Monday.
All right. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully we can get out there and get a little rut action going on public land. You show me how to hunt public.
Yeah. So we should probably, you know what? We should probably let me know when you're going, and maybe we'll try to get the same area, and we can kind of, I don't know, come up with some team game plan or something.
Yeah. No, it sounds good. I definitely will.
Okay, that sounds good. I like that. All right, I'll see you, dude.
All right. See you.
All right, bye.